am here to talk about Hare Krishna cults and gurus, these fake scammer gurus that are all over YouTube, and they're just scam artists, con artists. You know, they're gurus that are trying to sell you something that doesn't exist based on lies, and people fall for it. So we're gonna take a look at some of these gurus, these scammers on YouTube. I'm gonna run the video, and I'm gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna rant and get pissed off like I always do, and then we'll go from there. So welcome back to the show, and let's get the opening going. Here we go.
Hello?
Hello.
All right, so these gurus, okay, these internet gurus, these scammer gurus on YouTube, and they're all related to the Krishna cults, and this is a dangerous Krishna cult, and these guys are dangerous themselves. Hey, Raphael, how you doing? I'm doing great. Excited to be back. And I know I've been talking about these gurus and this Guru Hari guy and all of these bogus guys, these guys that fall down and all of this stuff. So now we're going to go ahead and just take a look at these guys look at these guys in action. Now you and I, we know what these guys are all about. We've seen them every day. We saw them for years and years. And for those of you who don't know who I am, it's your first time watching this video. I was in the Hare Krishnas for 20 years, from 1992 to 2012, and in LA, at the LA Temple. And I was worked at ITV, which was the main video department of the ISKCON, of the cult. And I worked on videos for about 2 years with ISKCON, with ITV, with Nishringanandan. Das. David Shapiro is his real name. David Shapiro is his real name. And my time there, I met so many devotees, leaders, gurus, everything. My daughter was in the school there. She was abused in the school by a Hare Krishna freak. They protected him. We became the outcasts. Then I hooked up with the Ritviks, and I became one of the leaders of the Ritvik. Well, not leaders. I was working with one of the leaders of the Ritvik, Yashodanandan. I was Yashodanandan Swami's ex-Swami, whatever that is. I was his right-hand man for about 10 years. And I did everything with the Ritvik, our Ritvik organization, including I was the secretary of the board of directors of the Hare Krishna consciousness movement, whatever we had our business, our nonprofit organization incorporated as. I was one of the main. I wasn't on the board of directors, but I was the secretary, so I was in charge of all. Don't matter. I know all about the poison issue. I know all about the Ritvik issue. I know all about the gurus and the falls down and the history. I know it all. I know it all. As do some of you watching probably know the same. If you were up there with some gurus, you were traveling around with gurus or You know the same stuff I know. It's no secret. The stuff that I know and the stuff that I'm saying and repeating, it's no secret. Child abuse, women like to be raped, and all that stuff. It's what this cult is all about. It's what this cult is all about. What they're all about. Women are shit. Children are even less. Nobody gives a fuck about their kids. Child marriage, that's okay. That's encouraged. Gurus falling down left and right. Ex-sannyasi secretary here. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, you said you had a lot of stories that you could share, and I know you do, because I got a bunch of stories. I mean, if I know stories, I know you know stories. This shit's all out there, and because it's such a hardcore cult, they're okay with all their shit. You ask a Hare Krishna, if you meet one on the street, you can ask him. You go, hey, I heard that you think women have small brains. They'll be like, yeah. Women, Prabhupada says women have small brains, they're less intelligent. Absolutely. I heard that black people belong in the jungle and that they're third-class citizens and they're just drunkards. And if you build a library, Prabhupada says if you build a library that they'll just go for drinking. They're not going to go for read a book or anything. Oh, yeah. He said, yeah, he said that. Absolutely. And it's true. It's true. I mean, just look at black people. This is what they say. Just look at black people. You can tell they're pretty low class, dangerous, and criminals, and drunks and drug addicts. Because their race is just like, Prabhupada teaches this to them. That's why this cult is dangerous. Because it's like injecting a virus in like a computer virus into your hard drive. And it corrupts your whole friggin' being. I mean, most people join the Hare Krishna. They're not. I mean, maybe, but most people are not racist, sexist assholes. But man, after 6 months, a year, hanging out with Hare Krishnas, believing women like to be raped and women have small brains and women are 9 times lustier than men, and women are the cause of all the problems and all this. I mean, it's not a favorable look on females, on women. And then you practically see how they treat women. Women are all over there and over there. And you see it. You read it in the books, and then you go to the temple and you see it. Women being talked down to, and they take it because they're taught. They're taught. I gotta be. I'm a woman. I got bad karma because I got born in a female body. They're taught that shit. Brainwash them. Then you get the whole women like to be raped. You get brainwashed to believe a little bit of this stuff, and then you just start to believe a little bit more. Pretty soon, you believe there's a demon head eating the moon during an eclipse, and you believe that women have small brains and they like to be raped. And all kinds of horrible stuff. The gurus can molest little kids, it's no problem. These guys, and the reason it upsets me so much is because Hare Krishna and ISKCON and all these gurus, these guys, they fly under the radar. Nobody realizes the crap that they're teaching. It's like that one lady that I had. She had joined this yoga cult just because she wanted to do yoga. She didn't realize it was a cult. Next thing you know, this guru's controlling her life, telling her what to eat, telling her what to do, telling her what to, and she didn't realize it because she was like brainwashed into this. Oh God, what is this crap? See yourself. Stop your bloody conversion in India. 50% Sikh in Punjab become Christian, while Norris become Christian in India. Could also become Christian. I don't know what that is. I'm not even going to comment. Ekadashi, sin personified, enters the grains. Yeah, I mean, not just controlling your vegetarianism, but like what you can eat on what day. What are you talking about? My history? I'm not talking about my history. What is my history? Is I'm not. I wasn't in the Crusades, and my people weren't in the Crusades. I happen to be Mexican, so my Aztecs people were killing each other in Mexico. What does that have to do with anything? What is it? What do the Crusades have to do with the fact that these gurus are preaching this bullshit to people today? The fuck is wrong with these? What the fuck is wrong with these cult people? These cult people will say anything and come up with anything to defend these gurus. And who are these gurus that they're so eager to defend? Who are these people that they got to come into my chat and like try to defend these guys? This is that Gorahari. This Gorahari. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Srila Gorahari Das. And his real name is like William Zoda. See, and I knew it. I knew he had like a normal name. William Zoda, Zada, whatever it is. Yeah, so Srila Gori Das, Gorahari Das, any more than I'm Sri Mukunda Das. Or Srila Sri Mukunda Das. Das Adhikari. Brahmachari, Adhikari, whatever the fuck. His real name, he's really William Zoda. That's who he really is. But that doesn't sound so spiritual. Like you can't really get followers with an ordinary name like Mike Sandoval or William Zoda. That doesn't really ring a bell. But hey, Sri Mukunda Das or Gorahari Das or Indradyumna Swami or some other Swami. Hey, well then you can have a chat room full of these people.
Glorious Rotish van Bara. The omnipotent Supreme Lord of all living entities. He is the beloved Lord of Nityananda Prabhu and Gadadhara Pandita. Oh, glories. Glories to Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah, as you were saying that, I was thinking about this, like, people, they get a choice. You can have the beloved Lord in the form of this, especially now, in the form of these dictators. That's your beloved Lord. See, they act like lords, don't they? They control everybody and everything, and they lie and they cheat and they steal, and everybody says, "Oh, this is my beloved Trump and my beloved this and beloved that," and they're all lying to us, and so that Lord isn't very nice Lord to have as your Lord. See, and then people are in fear and repressed and all of that stuff. That's why when that dark Lord in this world, he's literally like a dark Lord, it makes just people miserable, ultimately. And here we can have the beloved Lord, and it's full of bliss, ecstasy, you know, and you just you think, like, my God, you know, everybody can change and have a new Lord, you know. That otherwise we get the same Lord, but in that form of Maya. Is this like a fucking slave thing? You know, like you watch these movies, these slave trips, you know, these tyrants, they put slave.
The fuck's he talking about? I'm seriously, like, I'm not saying that to be funny, but what the fuck is he talking about? I mean, I understand he's trying to say, well, we have this, they have that, and that what they have sucks, but we have this. Well, what do you have? What do you have? You got some blithering idiot there that's trying to prove that she's in some kind of ecstasy by laughing and giggling at stuff that's just like so weird that even these other people are like, what is going on with this woman with the giggling and the crying? I don't know. She's crying. She's giggling. She's just, and then he's blithering on about, I don't know.
They put you to work in the mines, you know, and you're sweating, and that's kind of the world, more or less, for people. Everything's tough, you know, tougher, and then it's actually, yeah, people, you know, this depends on where you live. There's different levels of control. See, so that's our Lord's here in the world.
What the hell is he saying? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I've listened to so many of these friggin' lectures in my life, and I've read so many purports in my life, but listening to this guy, like, what is he talking about? Yeah, that's what happens in the real world. You go to work. You go to work, and you get a job. You go to work, and then you get compensated for that work. Now, in his world, or in the Krishna world, what do you go to India and you work for Krishna on a farm, milking a cow for some guru, washing the guru's still working, and I don't understand how that is somehow it's ridiculous. He says, we have it better here. What, in your Zoom meeting? I mean, what are you getting at? I used to think that in the temple room when they would talk about the karmis have this and we have this, and we're so fortunate. We have so much, you know, we have everything. We have Krishna, right? They have zero and we have one, and, you know, they have a lot of zeros and we have, you know, the one in front of all the zeros. And then I would look around and I would be like, what do we have? What do I have? Of course, I had a job, so I'm working. So I had, you know, I got gas in my gas tank. I got whatever. But I'm looking around the temple and I'm like, what do you have? I mean, I understand Prabhupada. He's traveling the world. He's eating nice and he's traveling and he's going here and going there, and everything's, yeah, for him, everything's great. But what do we have? What is going on here? It looks like these people are saying the same thing. Like what's going on here? I don't understand the, you know, well, now that I'm out of it, it's easy for me to sit here and go, I don't understand the attraction to this, but I'm going to say, I don't understand the attraction to this, even from one who was once in.
Have the Lord of bliss and ecstasy and that transcendental form of God who actually helps us. You know, these others, people say, we want to keep you safe and help you, right? The doctors, the politicians, and even the religious leaders, but they can't do very much for us. And a lot of times they have motives and they do things bad to us. And, yeah, here we.
Well, that's what I was saying about him, because he's a spiritual leader. He's a religious leader. He's leading these people. He's leading somebody. He's leading these people. What do you have to give me? What is it that you have? What is he talking about that I haven't heard 1,000 times, that I don't already understand and reject for being fake and false and bogus and foolish and so many reasons. But what is he giving? What is he giving these people? They're just sitting there in the Zoom meeting, and I don't even know what he's talking about. Seriously, don't know what he's talking. We have the transcendental form of bliss. Doctors and lawyers and all these other people, they think they're doing stuff for people, like helping them live a healthy, happy, free life, full of rewards, ups and downs, whatever life takes them. And so many people are working to making life better in that way. But what is he doing? What is this transcendental name of the Lord doing? It doesn't make anybody's life better. In fact, so many ways I've gone over and over and over how this doesn't do anything but make people's lives worse. Women, children, men, the children that are abused, the women that have small brains that are less intelligent, 9 times lustier, and that are like to be raped. And men that go through life screwed up in the head, sometimes so screwed up in the head they commit suicide. Committing suicide over this stuff. Hey, Eliana, that's it's great to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Verbal diarrhea at its best. Seriously, I have no clue whatsoever. Exactly. When you're in the cult, somehow you can bring it all around to try to make some kind of sense. Because you're reading this shit in these books and everybody's talking to this crap. But man, when you get out of this shit, and you look back and you try to decipher what's going on. Hey, how you doing? So glad to see you. I can't tell you how great it is to see you. You're such an inspiration. Keep doing what you're doing there. It's when you look back at this with a clear head, it is. I mean, the best way to describe it is verbal diarrhea. And this is the Gora Haridas guy that they want me to go in and listen to him. Like, he's going to tell me something. I could sit there and do what he's doing. He's no Srila anything. I mean, seriously, I might joke around a lot, but, you know, he's Srila Gori Haridas. I'm Srila Sri Mukunda Das. No different than that. Hey, thanks. Well, you know, we're inspirations to each other, because you're definitely an inspiration to me. So everybody, if you want to know about Scientology and protesting Scientology, check out A Voice Down Under. Great videos and a lot of information. So check that out if you're interested in Scientology and cults in general. So that's just Gora Haridas. So I'm not going to go into his. I'm not going into his mental. What did you say it was? It was a mental facility Zoom meeting is what it was. It was like a mental facility Zoom therapy meeting, and all the inmates had to go in by Zoom. And he was Nurse Ratchet or whatever. He was the head nutcase. So I think I've had enough of him. But there's a bunch more. I want to go over some more. Here's a quick video of this guy, and these are more of how they infiltrate, or just not infiltrate. They just flood the zone on YouTube with their cult crap, and people don't know it's a cult. They just think, oh, listen to this guy talk. It's so interesting. And so I'm here to warn people that this is a cult, and this is all very dangerous stuff. Let's see. Let me get this guy going here.
Hare Krishna. I was recently at the Austin International Airport. At the airport, I forgot to remove my laptop in the security, and naturally my bag was taken to the side and they examined the laptop. And when they took the laptop off, my laptop has a sticker of Sri Radha, as we see in the trees of Vrindavan. When that lady officer saw that, she was surprised and she said, "What is this?" I said, "It is Sri Radha and she's the consort of Krishna." And she looked at my tilak and she looked at the kanti and said, "Are you a Hare Krishna?" I said, "Indeed I am. I am a Hare Krishna." She said, "Oh, the only Hare Krishna I know is Radhanath Swami." I said, "Wonderful. How do you know Radhanath Swami?" She said, "Many years back, one friend of hers gifted her the Journey Home, which is His Holiness Radhanath Swami's autobiography. And at that point, I was surprised and amazed, and I was thinking to myself, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and his disciples.
Yes, of course. There's some mystical, magical tour of how he went through the airport and he had a sticker, and that sticker is a sticker from, and then the lady in the airport was like, "Oh, I see your sticker." I mean, shit like that happens all the time, and just not Hare Krishna, but it just happened to be that she saw. It's no big deal, but to them, it's such a big deal. But who's this Radhanath Swami that he's? This guy's a dubious character, to say the least. You know, he was in West Virginia. He was involved with his guru. He's one of the most notoriously horrible people on the planet to ever live, to ever pose as a spiritual, responsible for so many things. And he's tied up in that. And now he's some spiritual leader and he's writing some book. No, he's just some guy pretending to be pretending to be this holy man. He ain't no holy man. This is nothing but this a cult. But it's a magical sticker. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly what they believe. It's a magical sticker. It was Krishna's arrangement. Krishna put that person there with the book and the story and the whole thing, and they believe it. Radhanath Swami is involved in a lot of shit. Yeah. See, it's no secret. If you just know a little bit about the Hare Krishna Cult, you know who that guy is. But a lot of people don't know who this guy is. Some people like me and some of the other people in this chat, they know who that guy is. But a lot of people YouTube reaches millions of people. There's like they're fishing. They're just throwing the hook out there and waiting for somebody to bite. And then the next thing you know, your brother is on a farm in India milking a cow, and he's the disciple of Devamrita Swami, who's another just like him. It's just like that other guy. Involved in some shady stuff. That's how easy it is for people to get duped, people to get to fall into this cult. So like he was saying with a book, it's all about, let me give a book. Oh, you got this person's book, the magic sticker. I mean, market. I don't know who that is. Mark Ketter tried scamming me and failed. There's so many of them, especially in ISKCON, because they, in the Krishna cults, they all feel like, well, like this guy. He goes, well, he came to me in a dream and told me I'm doing the right thing, so I should preach some more. So I'm gonna now I can preach and get these people to giggle like they're blithering idiots. She's just giggling and laughing and crying and alternating between giggling. Every time I've seen that woman talk, she's alternating between crying and giggling. And they think that's like a symptom of spiritual ecstasy. Like, well, how come Gora Haridas isn't? He cries too. I've seen videos of him crying too. But my friend Radhakunda Das, who was a shady character, another shady character, for the greater good, the real Slim Shady. So even my friend Radhakunda Das, who was a Slim Shady, he was a character. He always felt like I can just I can become holy man when I want to be, and then I can go be, I can go be unholy man when I want to, and it's just up to me to just switch back and forth whenever I want, and that's perfectly okay. And he would, I'm telling you, I did drugs with the guy. I went to some shady. I've been to some shady places with that guy, and yet he felt like he could go sit in the temple room in Vrindavan and give lectures to people. And he even had a little following of people that thought he was the greatest thing on the planet. And I'm like, I know that guy. I know him. Like, yeah, that's embarrassing. It looked like her friends were embarrassed that she was giggling like a slow-speaking crook. The sad part, some of the richest families in India support. Yeah, they are so good at getting money and donations and preying on people that are good-hearted people who believe that they're who they say they are, and they have no idea who they are. Just like people don't have no idea who I am. People think that I'm just like some guy on YouTube who's pissed off at ISKCON. No, I was in it for 20 years. I know all about it. There's nothing you can tell me. You can't tell me anything. I know everything about it. I know the philosophy, the superstition. I mean, I've forgotten a lot of it because I haven't been doing it, But all the books, everything. I don't need to go listen to these friggin' gurus. I don't need to listen to these guys. Here's another one, and listen what this guy's got to say, and then I'm gonna talk about what this guy has to say. Afterwards.
The personal question, as you mentioned, we left ordinary dharma of taking care of parents, personal responsibility in the family, and came here for parodharma, that is devotional service. After coming here, somebody is not serious and sincere in this path. Even to the degree, 4 regulative principles they are not following and taking it not that much seriously. What should be a devotee whose conscious attitude should be in this situation that I left ordinary dharma of taking care of my parents and came here, and I'm not even following regulative principles seriously. I'm not even feeling pinch. What should be the attitude? And also, without getting depression or kind of things, what kind of basic guidance I should take with the system what Prabhupada has given to us is my first question, Prabhupada.
Yeah. You see, you accept devotion service. This is a very sensitive question. It has to be sensitively understood.
PI Planning IO revolutionizes your workflow with endless
I apologize
possibilities.
for this.
Let's dive into some fantastic features that will transform your PI.
When we come to Krishna consciousness, we are entering the kindergarten of devotion service. When we are entering the kindergarten of devotion service, we may fall many times. When we fall down in many times with our senses being conditioned in so many ways, then should I take a decision that, look, I am neither following this nor I have left that my ordinary dharma, and here I am not able to follow perfectly. So maybe I have to go back and follow those things properly. The only answer to this question is because fall down will be there. A child is learning to walk. When you are in kindergarten, when you learn to walk, a child will fall. But the walking capacity is in the child. So we have to understand whether I am still going to school, whether I am, in spite of falling, whether I am getting up and further, I have lost the spirit to achieve Krishna consciousness. This you have to check. Have I settled here in devotional service like a karmi for so many things. You've forgotten that I am in spiritual life. And here, so many facilities are there. I can settle in all these facilities. Then it is very dangerous. Just merely falling down does not necessarily mean you have to leave devotion service.
Okay, so yeah, so the first thing to comment on is obviously the question is, hey, I left my parents, I left my duty. He says, Dharma, my duty. I left my duty to take care of my parents to come join this temple and be a Hare Krishna because that's what Prabhupada says to do. Because if your parents aren't Hare Krishnas, then you don't owe them anything. That they're not really your parents anyway. So the question, the Indian guy is saying, well, look, in India we have Dharma, and taking care of our parents is like an important thing to do. So you're saying, I'm asking you, like, so we leave our parents, we don't do our Dharma, and we leave our parents to go take care of our to come live in the temple, and then we struggle in the temple and we fall down and have difficulties in the temple. So then what should be our position then? So obviously the first thing is like, wow, you leave your parents to go join a temple? Like, why can't I join the temple and still take care of my parents? So that's the thing. But he's talking about falling down. And the thing that I wanted to bring up is that he's saying that when we start Krishna consciousness to join, that it is kindergarten of, it's the beginning. What he's saying is it's the beginning. He's saying it's the beginning of your spiritual life, and that there could be fall downs, and there will be fall downs. And that's what I was saying. We expect fall downs to happen in the beginning. That's normal, that's natural, that's to be expected. But not at 83 years old. Not after you've been doing it for 60 years. You've been doing it for 60 years. You're 83 years old. I mean, come on, man. Why are you having difficulties? That means you've been having difficulties. See, I don't believe that like all of a sudden at 83, all of a sudden he started having difficulties. The difficulties were there, whether he was acting on them or not, but the difficulties were there. And maybe in some other ways, stuff was coming out in other ways. I don't know. But it's hard to believe that after at age 83, after doing Krishna consciousness for 60 years, that all of a sudden difficulties arise and he falls down and has sex with a woman. That just doesn't make sense, especially in the Hare Krishna world. Probably the reason you showed that clip was to show that he's just another scammer guru who can sit there on a chair and lecture about bullshit. He's just another scammer. He's an example of another scammer. And he's explaining how when you get into Krishna consciousness, you can fall down. Even though it's scientific, it's the holy name, Krishna dances on your tongue, and all of this other crap, he's going to sit there and preach this bullshit. Out of the same books, he's preaching from the same books that say that women are less intelligent, that women like to be raped, that women are 9 times lustier than men. This man believes all that shit. He believes 11-year-old girls. He doesn't care that Prabhupada was 22 years old when he had sex with his 11-year-old bride. He doesn't care. In fact, he thinks 11-year-old girls are perfectly fine to get married. He believes when Prabhupada says in the first canto that up to 16 years old, girls must be married to 25-year-old men. This man right here, he believes that. He thinks Prabhupada is correct. When Prabhupada says that black people belong in the jungles and should never have been given freedom, and Abraham Lincoln was, incorrect in freeing the slaves, this guy right here, he believes that too. He believes women have small brains. He believes women like to be raped. He doesn't give a shit about children because he thinks kids should go to a Gurukula. And then you should just drop your kids off in the school and go play Hare Krishna somewhere. And he also believes that when you're 50 years old, you can just abandon your wife and just go off to the forest or go become a preacher. He believes all the shit that Prabhupada says in his books. Every single bit. This man believes that shit. And that's why he's on there. And that's why I showed that clip. He's one of them. 60 years of cosplay. Exactly. 60 years of cosplay, cheating others, scamming others, accepting service, getting your feet washed, having your underwear washed, having your lunch cooked for you, pretending he's representing God, sitting on a little chair lecturing people about what he should do, what you should do, whether you should get married or not, whether you should go sell books in a parking lot at Costco, or whether you should go to this Pasadena City College and sell books there. Telling you, controlling every bit of your life. That guy came in here and told me that his brother went to India, came back, and now and things are worse than they were before. He's completely under the spell of this Devamrita Swami. He said it's worse than ever. He said the only good thing is that he still keeps in contact. It's like for his family, that guy might as well be in jail because they don't get to see him. They don't get to see him unless he allows them to see him. They can't even go visit him in jail. They can't go visit him. He has no contact with him. They don't know what he's doing or where he is. They don't know if he's okay. They don't know if he's sick, he's healthy. They don't know anything. They're just happy that every now and then they get an update. Hey, I'm okay. I'm still in the cult, but I'm okay. The only thing that guy did was somebody gave him a book. He was bummed out that his grandmother passed away. And somebody gave him a book. Here's a book about life and death, from India. Scriptures, man, it's good. It's like from the Vedas. I know you're bummed out about your grandma. Read this book. Next thing you know, the guy's in India milking a cow. Now he's under the spell of this friggin' scammer guru guy. Letting disciples drink water and wash your... Yeah, and that's what this guy's doing. He's washing this guy's feet. He's got a little picture on his altar, offering him flowers and incense, doing the little Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pastaya, all that bullshit. I know all those prayers. At least I used to. If you don't do it if you don't stay up, remember. I almost barfed when I remember them drinking the water to wash the feet. Okay, if you're prone to barfing, you might not want to listen to this next story. So when I was having dinner with Tamal, Krishna and Nishringananda and Abhiram, me, Tamal, Nishringananda, and Abhiram, and we had it wasn't dinner. We were filming. So we're filming Tamal Krishna giving a lecture. And I'm the cameraman. I'm behind the camera and I'm filming, and Nishringananda from ITV, he's directing it. So he's like he's in charge. He's sitting there like Cecil B. DeMille. And I'm filming Tamal. And then we're doing this whole thing, and the kids are there, and all of a sudden they bring out like some sweets and some fruit. And they bring this big plate. They bring this plate over of sliced oranges and like bananas or something. I don't remember. I remember the sliced oranges. That's what I remember, but I don't remember everything that was there because I wasn't trying to like make a mental note of everything that was going on. But we took this break, and Tamal is sitting on the Vyasasan in his temple in Houston. And this is just a couple years before he died, so I don't remember it. But he's sitting there on the Vyasasan in his temple in Houston. He's giving this lecture to these kids. We're videotaping, and we take a break, and he's got a plate of these orange slices on his plate and some whatever else he's eating, and he's eating it. And everybody around him is disciple. The whole temple is Tamal, disciples, women, men, kids. And so he's got this plate. He's eating these oranges, slices, and he's leaving the orange peel with some orange on it. He's like, and he's putting it on there. And I'm like right there. I'm like right, because I'm the cameraman, so I'm like behind the camera, and and he's like right there. And he gives the plate of his like banana peel and his orange peel to his Abhiram or his secretary, whoever it is. I don't remember exactly. Because, and the devotees, they just lunged for that crap, and they were eating it and just savoring it like it was his orange peel and his banana peel. They're just like, and to see that like right in front of me, like to see them do, like I was like, he just, that weirded me out. That weirded me out. I don't know. It was just to see people do that to his rejected food, and they were just like gobbling it up, like that was just, for me, that was disturbing. And I know that's what they do. I know that's what they do, because they have this idea that the guru is like God. remnants of Tamal's crap. I know, especially Tamal, of all people. Tamal, that's how brainwashed these people are. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they can brainwash you to get you to do a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and then you're believing that there's a demon head eating the moon, and that if you eat this guy's orange peel, you're going to get super mental power, because somehow you're getting something from him by eating his. Wait, I got to go back here because but you're right on other aspects regarding rape and other aspects of women. Yeah, I'm right on everything. I mean, I'm not wrong about anything. I talked with many of my friends, and it was the same with their grandparents. Some reformers fought against child marriage. After that, we are following a 20 plus. That's fine about that, but that's not what Prabhupada wants for his movement. Prabhupada says in his books, 11-year-old girls through 16, prepubescent. He says that men have to marry their women before they menstruate, so that the woman falls in love with the man, with the husband, at 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old. And then she'll fall in love with him, and she'll love him for the rest of her life. But he couldn't even pull that off. So it was like he says that's what happens, but it didn't happen with him. So, that's what I'm saying. You can tell me what happens in India, or what happens in your family, or what happens in your neighborhood, or your town, your village, or whatever. But I know what's in Prabhupada's books. I know what he preached. I know I've heard him preach. I've seen him preach. I've heard him preach in videos, lectures, books. I mean, yeah, man, you know, they've changed some of the laws in India where, you know, but it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what Prabhupada is preaching and what this cult practices. I've shown you if you're just coming in here now and you haven't watched my past videos, you need to go watch the one where the girl talks about how her mom married her off at 13 to a guy who would take her to India so he could abuse her in India. At 13. The mom married her off. Where did the mom get that idea? And she wasn't the only one. She was not the only one. You're talking about, oh, a child marriage. Prabhupada got married, he was 11, or his wife was 11, he was 22. Yeah, but that was in 1890 or 1900 or whatever. No, he's talking about now. Yeah, go watch it. If I could tell you where to find it, it's disgusting, okay? She talks about how she was raped and she was this and that, and then her mom marries her off to some guy and takes her to India, and then she ends up wandering around Mumbai, a prostitute at age 16, head all screwed up. It is a sad, and she tells her story herself. She's being interviewed. She tells the story. It's a sad, sad story. You go through all the stages of denial, bargaining, acceptance. I mean, she has one of the most amazing stories that you could ever hear. I mean, I shouldn't say that because there's so many kids that have amazing stories. It's the shit that they live through. Hers is just one that we've heard. The shit that I've heard that happened to these kids in Dallas and in India, and I'm sure some of you Hare Krishnas that know. You guys know the opening of my show. It says $400 million lawsuit. It's not, and that's what gets me. I reiterate this again: $400 million lawsuit, but nobody goes to jail. Nobody's held responsible. The institution's responsible, but what about the individuals that did the abuse? What about the individuals that covered it up, that were part of it? Same thing with the murder of the devotee in LA. Yeah, there's a guy in jail that did it, but there were so many people involved. Gurus and temples, West Virginia, LA, Ohio. People buying airplane tickets, people with bags of money, lookouts. People, there were two guys that went to kill the guy. How come only one guy's in jail? What happened to the other guy? What about the gurus that ordered it to? I mean, it blows my mind. It blows my mind that this murder could happen in L.A. half a mile from my house. 2 bullets in this guy's head. And they only got the one guy. And they know about all these other people. They know all these other people were involved. Books and movies have been made about this whole shit. And they could only get one guy. Well, where are all those other people? Well, they're still Hare Krishnas. They're still running around. They got people milking cows in India. Guys are swamis and leaders. And they go to these festivals, to these cult festivals that are coming into your town. Venice Beach, August whatever, they're going to have a big giant festival in Venice Beach. And there's going to be a bunch of friggin' pedophiles and criminals there. They can't have a festival without pedophiles going to it because that's who's in this cult. They create them. If you have a cult that teaches that women are less intelligent, women have small brains, and women like to be raped, women are stupid, women are taken advantage by men, then you're going to have, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, what do you think is going to happen? Crazy. Here's another one. Wait a minute, let me see. I know someone who's married off at 12 to a man who's 45. Shocking. That's what they believed and do. Are you talking about Hare Krishna, who was married off at 12? Because I know that I know it's in the books, and I know it's happened, but when I still hear about it, I'm still just like, I still can't believe it. I still can't believe it. She had to go to therapy, and after a long time, she's still having many PTSD issues to which she needed to deal with. It was really sad. Imagine kids growing up with friends instead of cultists. The child marriage thing is really just over the top. The child abuse, I mean, child abuse, child marriage, I mean, where is there a line between child abuse and child marriage? I mean, if you're into child abuse, if your cult pretty much just says, hey, neglect your children and put them in this school and go play Hare Krishna and don't worry about your kids because they're not really your kids anyway. I mean, child marriage that far? I mean, is it that far off to just, hey, if she's 11, you don't even have to put her in the school. Just marry her to some guy. You can just marry her to some guy. Yes, in the Hare Krishna conscious movement. It's great. Wow. So there you have it. I mean, it's not something that you're going to hear about. It's not something you're going to just look up. Go child marriage in ISKCON, and then Google's going to spit out a list of all the 11-year-old girls that were married to grown men in ISKCON. But there probably is a pretty good list. I would imagine that there's a pretty good list. I mean, she just confirmed it. Yes, in the Hare Krishna conscious movement, it's crazy. So of a 12-year-old girl who was married to a 45. That's just, to me, it's absolutely insane. And I shouldn't be shocked, but I'm speechless. I'm literally speechless, but I shouldn't be. I really shouldn't. But it just gets me that, like,
Bhakti Gana Vandanam Sabha Shicharan. I offer respects to advanced Vaishnavas and neophyte Chotabada. One attains the lotus feet of the Lord. Om Magyana Tamarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshumatamena Tasmaya Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Upakadamayam Dadanti Sambadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapatakamalom Shri Guru Vaishnavam.
So impressive that he knows these Sanskrit prayers. I mean, I don't know what. Here's another one, a holy man. Mr. Holy Man, he's probably, I don't know who this guy is. His Holiness, he's a holiness. His Holiness Partha Sarati Das Goswami Maharaj. And it doesn't say much about him. It
Sadvaitam Sadhutam Varijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Badam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishavitam Sja Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopikanta.
okay, so so I don't know anything about this man other than his guru is Prabhupada. So his guru is a man who was 22 years old and he had sex with his 11-year-old wife, child bride, and then he bragged about it and laughed about it, which I went over in my last video. So this man knows that, and if he doesn't know that, he should know it, because if I know it, and you've watched it on my video, why doesn't he know? So knowing that, he accepts Prabhupada as his, so he's down with that. He's like, I'm okay with my guru being 22 years old having sex with an 11-year-old girl. I have no problem with that at all. In fact, I'm going to worship that man for the rest of my life as if he's as good as God. I'm going to say prayers to him. I'm going to offer him flowers and incense. And he's just going to, and I'm going to promote him as being the greatest man to ever walk the face of the earth. This man who had sex with an 11-year-old girl when he was 22. He's made that decision that that's who he's going to worship as his guru for the rest of his life and all of this stuff. And he has the nerve to call himself His Holiness. What's holy about him? Because he's following this Prabhupada character who was nothing but a failure his whole life? Failed at his marriage, failed at being a father and a husband, dropped out of college. He didn't get his diploma, so he's a college, in my eyes, he's a college dropout. If you go to college and then you don't get your diploma, reject it, or, and I don't even know if that's true. I believe my story. He just dropped out. He wants to say, hey, I joined Gandhi and I rejected my diploma. Okay. You reject your diploma and you reject your education at the college, then you're basically a dropout. You're not a you're not a college graduate. You didn't graduate. And you're not a scholar. You're not an expert. You're not anything. You have no degree. You have no degree in anything. You're just a self-proclaimed expert, just like me. I'm a self-proclaimed expert in my life. Prabhupada was no expert. He failed at he didn't finish college. He failed at father, failed at parent, failed at student, college student, failed at employee at the pharmacy, failed at business owner, failed at magazine publisher, and then he failed at getting his books published. His books are being sold by hand. People shove them in people's face. But he wants these books. Nobody's using his books in his college courses and college classes. Maybe once it happened. Somebody said, hey, break out this Bhagavad Gita. We're going to read from... maybe there probably is some Hare Krishna freak who became a teacher or professor. There's a bunch of these idiots. And they have I'm going to teach a class on Prabhupada. Who the fuck's going to go take a class on Prabhupada other than another Hare Krishna freak? Prabhupada is... So that's this guy's an initiating spiritual initiating spiritual master, ISKCON, South Africa.
Tarakanta Namostate.
Oh,
Taptakanshan Gorange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamani Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
what a bunch of
Gurave
what a
Gurachandraya
bunch of
Radhikatidaya Krishna
bullshit.
Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. So we're going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam.
Мы собираемся прочитать сегодня Шримад Бхагаватам.
And this is one of my favorite verses, Canto 11, Chapter 10, Text 20.
Это один из самых моих любимых стихов, 11-я песнь, 10-10 глава, текст номер
11, 10, 20.
10 глава, 20 текст.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
I can't
Om Namo
take this.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
I can't take it. Okay. So yeah, so this guy, he's an initiating spiritual master, which means he's on the highest level of scammer there is in this cult. Flies around the world on other people's dime. People giving donations to this guy. He flies around. People cooking his food. Russian translation follows. Yeah, so this guy's sitting there. He's pretending to be holy man. His guru sex with an 11-year-old girl when he was 22 years old, and then put in his books that this guy's about to read. And he put in his books that 11 years old is perfect for having a wife, right? The highest level of scammer, absolutely highest level of scammers. He gets to scam people on a whole nother level of like big. If you're a book distributor, then you just go out and you scam people like, one-on-one. You're going out and you're going up to individual people trying to get a book in Costco parking lot or something like that. But when you're initiating spiritual master, now you're being invited to speak at the college. You're being invited to speak at someone's temple. You're invited to speak at someone's house. You're going to meet with important, rich Indian people, and you can scam them and get money out of them. And so, you should donate to Prabhupada's mission because we're feeding so many children and we're printing these books. And Krishna Leela is so important, and it's your duty as an Indian to support this Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and Vedic culture, as I'm spreading Vedic culture around the world here in South Africa. And we want to build this big temple. So it's your duty to donate to this movement. And just think of the liberation of how not only will you be liberated if you donate to my temple, but generations of your descendants will be liberated, both and back. Your ancestors and your descendants will all be liberated just by you donating, a couple $100,000. Get this temple going. And they get the scam on the highest level. Whereas Prabhupada, he's just pushing books around parking lot in Costco or Pasadena City College, scamming people one-on-one. This guy gets to scam a whole friggin' country. He gets to scam a whole country. And then they do it online too. So then they get that's the extra, is they will videotape it and we'll put it online, and then we'll get people to zoom in. They can zoom and give donations as well, and they're all the same. These guys are all the same. It doesn't matter if they're in Bangalore or they're in Downey, California, or they're in Cedar Woolley, Washington, or Brooklyn, Dallas. It doesn't matter if they're Ritviks, if they're Shitviks, if they're ISKCON or PISCON. It doesn't. They're all the same. They're reading all the same books. So you say, well, what's the difference between an ISKCON guru and the Ritviks? I say there's no difference because they're reading the same books. Ask them. They both believe that women are less intelligent. They both believe that women like to be raped. They both believe that there's nothing wrong with 11-year-old wives. They both believe that you should put your kids in a Gurukula school and let the guru, the teacher, beat the shit out of them if they have, or rape them or whatever. They don't care. Kriyab. Good, nice to see you in here. If a Christian sells a book, he is a spiritual leader. But if a Hindu monk sells a book, it's a scam and such hypocrisy. No, who said that? I didn't say that. Who said if a Christian sells a book, he's a spiritual leader? Who says that? I didn't say that. Did I say that? I don't remember saying that. Are you saying that? If you have visited ISKCON, you would not have judged. Well, obviously you missed the part where I said that I was in ISKCON for 20 years. And that I've been to a shit ton of temples. I met a shit ton of gurus, scammers, sannyasis, gurus, temple presidents. I've been to Vrindavan temple. Been to a lot of temples in America, North America. What makes you think I haven't been to an ISKCON temple? I believe you're in the wrong life. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I thought we went over this. I thought we went over this like an hour ago. I didn't say that all Hindu monks are scammers. In fact, the other night I said that most Hindu monks in India that are real sannyasis, that are real spiritual guys that are doing their thing, that are not in ISKCON, they're just doing their thing. They're not scamming anybody. They're not out scamming anybody. But ISKCON, that's a scam. That's like saying that someone who has a little kid who has a lemonade stand and he's selling lemonade is scamming people because there's people scamming people. And the lemonade kid with the the kid with the lemonade stand has nothing to do with people scamming people. So, and then the idea that, I don't know what you're saying. I'm from India. Every day in that temple, every afternoon, we are served food for free. So what? Who cares? There's a lot of places where you can go get free food. You can go get free food at a lot of temples in India. What's the big deal? I don't understand. What's your point about that? I don't know what that means about free food. I'm from India. Every day in that temple, every afternoon, we are served food for free. Yeah. When I'm in India, there's a lot of places where I can go and get. They have food on the street where you can just walk up and you can get a bowl of khichdi, and it's good. It's not like it's like not good. It's good, and they hand it out for free. You can get it. A lot of temples have it. Then what's the point? I mean, I don't understand what the point is. If you're a new member of ISKCON, why would you not know the history of the truth of ISKCON? Some of us have been in Sanatana Dharma for a very long time, especially when we worked within. Yeah, I think it might be his chance to get his sorry ass out of ISKCON. Money is actually needed as they are selling the book. No, but that's where you're mistaken. It's not a spiritual book. Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam is a dangerous book that brainwashes people into becoming horrible people, that believe that women like to be raped, that women are less intelligent, that women, Prabhupada says in his books over and over that there's three things you can beat: a drum, a dog, and a woman. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with Prabhupada when he says you can beat a woman? Is that spiritual? Is that spiritual life? Beating women? Beating women, spiritual life? Let us pray. Is beating women spiritual life? Is Prabhupada spiritual when he had sex with his 11-year-old bride? Was he a pure devotee acting on a transcendental platform? Was it on a transcendental platform when he captured her hand and had sex with her when he was 22 and she was 11? Was that transcendental Leela? Was that his transcendental Rasa Leela? Every Sikh temple serves free food. Yet you don't see Sankirtan Pujabis and Turmans selling books so they can feed others. Exactly. You can get, there's so many places in India where you can go and get free food, that the fact that ISKCON feeds people or gives away free food is irrelevant. That's like saying there's free air at the ISKCON. There's free air at the ISKCON temple. Well, there's free air everywhere. I can go a lot of places and get food. The fact that ISKCON feeds people is like so what? I mean, good, you're giving away food, but in exchange for your feeding people is you're giving them literature that's dangerous. Dangerous literature. You're talking about leaving your parents so you can go move into the temple, and their parents aren't your parents. Your children aren't your children. What to speak of that you can just get married if you can't control your genitals, so just get married. And then when you got them under control, you can just leave your wife and go live in the jungle, in the forest, or wherever. What is that? How does that benefit anybody? How does that benefit anybody? How does that make anybody's life better? Especially the woman that you just married, got her pregnant, and then decided, oh, I'm going to go be a sannyasi now. So I guess she's going to go to Vrindavan and live in a temple and take care of the kid. But I don't understand how that makes anybody's life better. I don't know how all the homophobia in these books, you want people to believe that Lord Brahma farted out homosexuals and that they're demons and mentally ill and that they tried to have sex with him and that he went and prayed to Lord Vishnu, oh, please save me from these demons that I just farted out of my ass because they're trying to have sex with me. You want me to believe that? And you believe that? And Prabhupada wrote that? And you want homosexuals to read that? And then you think that, oh, just chant Hare Krishna, you won't be homosexual anymore. That somehow these magic words are going to just... No. Your friggin' books and full of brainwashing crap and this dangerous shit. And you think it's oh, we're feeding people. It's a spiritual book. The fuck does spiritual mean? How is it a spiritual book? What's spiritual about it? That Krishna wants all these people to fight and die? Because he says so? And Arjuna doesn't want to fight because there's people on both sides, and Krishna says, no, kill them anyway. I don't give a fuck, just kill them. And that's spiritual? That's somehow spiritual? And we're supposed to go, yeah, kill him, fuck Arjuna, he didn't know what he's talking about. Just wipe everybody out. Because Krishna's some bloodthirsty, sex fiend god. See, when you break it down like that, it doesn't make sense, does it? It just doesn't make sense. But if you combine it with some incense and some flowers and some ching 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 and all this other stuff, then hey, it's a good time. We're having a lot of fun. In Mumbai, ISKCON, Juhu, perhaps. And Prabhupada remarks on Hitler that he was a great man, underachiever only. So yeah, not only did he say Hitler was a great man, but he actually denies the Holocaust, which I didn't know until I did some research recently. I was doing some research recently and found where Prabhupada says, "Oh, he didn't kill millions of people. He killed a few thousand that were in jail, that were incarcerated." So Prabhupada is actually, I would call that a Holocaust denier. If you're actually denying the facts of the Holocaust, praising Hitler, calling him a gentleman, challenging your Jewish, this is what really gets me, challenging your Jewish disciples. He's got his Jewish disciples there, right? Okay, Prabhupada's sitting in a room. He's got his Jewish disciples there, and he says to them, "I think Hitler was a good man. What do you think?" Now, that was a direct challenge from Prabhupada to his Jewish disciples who most likely lost relatives in the Holocaust, either parents or grandparents, most likely grandparents, but it could have been their parents because this was 50 years ago. So Prabhupada's got the balls. Prabhupada's such an asshole that he's going to sit there and say, "Hey, I think Hitler was," and this is another quote that's in the books that we can actually listen to Prabhupada say it. "Hey, I think Hitler was a good guy, was a gentleman. What do you guys think?" And then they were just like, what are they going to do? They're going to challenge Prabhupada and say, "No, Prabhupada, you're wrong. He wasn't a great man." They're going to sit there and say to Prabhupada, "No, you're wrong, Prabhupada. Hitler killed my grandmother and my grandfather." Tamal Krishna, you think Tamal Krishna's grandparents were in Germany or Jewish, wherever they were escaping World War II? Hridayananda, Rameshwar. Guys are all Jewish. Prabhupada's telling him that he thinks the man who's responsible for torturing and killing Jews in World War II was a great man. And he's saying that to his disciples who are old enough to have lost parents and grandparents in World War II. That's the kind of person that Prabhupada was. Is that spiritual? Challenging them like that in some weird way to see if they would challenge it, if they would speak up, or I don't know what. I don't know what that was about. Is that a spiritual? Say challenging the man when he says Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, and he's like, "Oh, he freed the slaves?" Like ridiculing him, like freeing the slaves was wrong. Otherwise, why would he? This is your spiritual master? This is this guy's spiritual master? forget to hit the like button, people. Hey, thank you. Thanks for that reminder. Hit the like button. There's no shocker. Prabhupada believes in Hitler. Hitler is a great man. Yeah. Yes. Yes, I believe that is it. I believe that is it. It's a purity test. It's a loyalty test. It's a loyalty test. It's like I've got you. I believe that that was the moment when he's like, I'm gonna test you now, because they were already deep in. They were deep in. Like it was a purity test. When I found out some of the stuff that I found out, that was like a purity. That was like my own purity test. It was like, okay, I'm not crossing that line. I had my own, but I do feel like that was, yes, he was challenging them to speak up. Tell me I'm wrong. He knew that they're Jewish. He knew that they had grown up their whole lives. And World War II was a lot closer in time to them than it is to us now. Back in the 1970s, 50 years ago, World War II was only 30 years away, which is the difference between now and the 90s. So it wasn't, that's why I'm saying these disciples could have lost grandparents or parents in the Holocaust. And Prabhupada's going to challenge them and say, I think Hitler was a great man. What do you think? Prabhupada's Scottish college friends in Calcutta, Mr. Subhash Chandra Bose, met directly with Hitler here in Poland in 1942 or 43, asking for help. So Prabhupada's attitude was this: we're India, we're fighting the British for independence. Hitler is fighting the British. So therefore, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So he was like, we're going to go, if Hitler's fighting the British and we're fighting the British, then obviously we're on the same side. And so they wanted to be on the side of Hitler so that they could get independence from Britain. And so therefore, Prabhupada was of the mind that Hitler was on the right side of history. He says he was a good man. He had the atom bomb. He didn't drop it because Hitler was cool. It was the Americans that dropped the atom bomb, and Hitler could have dropped it if he wanted, but he didn't, because he was a gentleman. He didn't want to kill all those people. No, he just killed all those people he just killed all 6 million Jews in the concentration camps that you conveniently deny happened. So you can say Hitler was a great guy. The Americans dropped the atom bomb. Hitler wouldn't do such a thing. The more you're in denial and willing to accept what pure devotee is, you're on your way to Goloka in a speed train. And that's what they think. They think that, and it's the purity test is what makes them spiritual. The more stories they believe and memorize, the more spiritual you are. The more chanting you do, the more spiritual you are. The more time you spend at the temple, the more spiritual you are. But what is spiritual? What does it actually mean? What does it actually mean? Because Prabhupada's doing snuff. Is that transcendental? At night, Prabhupada's putting this garbage in his books. Where's his realization? Prabhupada's all this thing about how everybody can be a devotee and Lord Chaitanya's movement is for everyone and it's golden age and everyone can chant and all this stuff. And then he talks about how women are less intelligent and shouldn't be given independence. And black people are ugly and shouldn't have come out of the jungles and they're drunkards and either everybody's the same and can be, everybody's drunkards and criminals and everybody's less intelligent. Everybody has a small brain. That's spiritual. right? I mean, spiritual is like every, the animal, there, the trees, like Native American Indians, thinking, the lake is a person and everybody's a person. I mean, believing, I mean, is it spiritual to believe that a demon head is eating the moon? And that Krishna ordered millions of people to just kill each other just for his own pleasure? So he could teach Arjuna, so he could speak Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, because if there wasn't a battle and all that, he wouldn't have put, I mean, sure, why not? What better reason is there to kill millions of people on a battlefield? Because I want to speak Bhagavad Gita to my buddy over here. So just hold on, and I'm going to speak Bhagavad Gita, and then after I do that, then you guys can go back to killing each other. Absolutely. Snuffing all night long, writing his nonsensical books. Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't know that either. So many similarities to Scientology. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's was the motivating thing, was when I realized how similar they were. And, I had this experience in it, and I feel like it's my duty. I feel like it's my duty to share what I know and to get these videos out there, because it is dangerous, and it is just like Scientology, and it is remarkably this is what I call it. I call Scientology Hare Krishna for nerds. It's Hare Krishna for nerds. If you're not into the whole, Hindu mythology thing, then you can do the Scientology thing, which is basically the same thing, but for nerds. And it's like, instead of the chanting on the beads, you got your auditor, you got your e-meter, and you're auditing. Instead of chanting, you're auditing, and you're selling books, and you're recruiting new people, and you're moving up, and and there's space people, and there's all kinds of weird stuff. So yeah, it's so similar to Scientology. And really, when I started to really put it all into perspective, and I said, and really I saw, well, thanks. You're doing a great job too. You're doing an absolutely great job. And like I said, you're one of my inspirations. How I got started in it, I'm going to finish up by just explaining how I got started in it. So when I saw all these people protesting Scientology, not just in LA, it started in LA, but then I saw that it was going all over the world. And I know what Scientology is. I know exactly what Scientology is. And it just kind of like brought me out the Hare Krishna. Like I started to remember and like just analyze and reflect on everything that I had experienced in Hare Krishna. And then I started to see people that were protesting Scientology that had never been in it. They were just motivated to end it. And I said, wow, those people are great, because if we're in it and you're out of it, and you, like me, and you want to end it, you feel like you got something to share, that's one thing. But if you've never been in it, any cult, and you're motivated just because you hear how horrible it is and what the bad things they do, and child abuse and women abuse and men abuse and all the abuse and the racism and the sexism and all of that stuff. And you hear about that, and you motivated to protest Scientology, and you've never been in it. You just want to do the right thing, so to speak, right? To quote a phrase, you want to do the right thing. That's amazing. And when I saw those people out there doing that, I was like, wow, man, I can't protest Scientology because I'm not in LA. I'm in another country, and I'm a guest in this country, so I can't go out and like protest stuff. I said, but I got to do something. If people who I've never been in a cult, and they are so motivated to do something, then I really should be doing something. And that's how I started doing this whole thing, because of Scientology. And I said, and then the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I have this whole history, 20 years, not just 20 years, but 20 like good years, deep in the woodwork years people I know, stories I have, all the stuff that I have. Like, it's all up here, and I need to share it with everyone. So that's why I've been doing it. Because so when I put all the pieces together, I realized, I really need to be speaking out and sharing what I know, because it's important for people to hear from someone who's been in it and knows. I didn't grow up in it. I have 20 years in it. I might as well. I mean, 20 years for a 10-year-old is they're 30, and they're spent 20 years in. So I might as well have grown up in it, but I didn't grow up in it. I spent 20 years in, and it wasn't 20 years, in the background of just going to the temple and going home, whatever. It was 20 active years doing a lot of stuff with a lot of different characters. I know all the characters and all the shit. So I felt like with all that knowledge and all that history and all that experience, that I really needed to speak out and do something about it and do something with it. And that's why I do these videos. So I want to thank everybody for watching. And really, if you want to know more about Scientology and protesting and cults, check out A Voice Down Under. Does great work. We're all in this together to end all these cults, whether it's Scientology or Hare Krishna or Jehovah's Witness or any dangerous cult that's out there. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you for joining in the chats. And let's see what you say. Thanks, Mike, and the rest of our friends. I got to go. Thank you, Day. Absolutely crucial to help others. And Raphael, thank you for joining. Really, all of you. Thank you all for joining, because it really makes it a much more meaningful experience. These videos when there's people watching and people joining in with what they know, and they can share it. So it's not just like this old man yelling at a cloud about how horrible Hare Krishna is. So thanks everybody for watching. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll be back soon with more Hare Krishna updates. And everybody have a great day, great morning, great afternoon, a great night. And please stay out of a cult, everybody. Have some great luck and stay out of a cult. And thank you. Thank you, Voice Down Under. Bye. Let's see what we got. We got an outro this time. Yeah.